Right then, welcome back. It's been a little while since we had a bit of a one-to-one, or I touched on a bit of an industry insight, or talked to you a little bit about in depth of what's going on currently within the current automotive industry. Now, it's probably not going to be a bit of a surprise in terms of obviously the header of the video, but in terms of what I'm going to be talking about today, because Autotrader is on everyone's lips. All the big dealers, all the big YouTubers are voicing their opinions on what's gone on, and it's even made news. Sky were reporting on it as well. So it has been quite a big thing in the news and certainly made waves within our industry. So, but I'm going to flip the coin a little bit because most people that have voiced their opinions on this have voiced their discontent in terms of what it means to them as a dealer, which is important. They're dealers, they're entitled to their opinion, and ultimately it does affect them, and it affects me, and it affects everyone else I know and my friends within the industry. But I want to talk about why it's important for you as a consumer to understand why dealers are frustrated, because within those frustrations, not only is there stuff that Autotrader are making life very difficult for dealers and not helping dealers within what they are really talking about. They're not really listening to dealers, but ultimately also it has a massive influence for you as a consumer, and it will negatively impact your buying journey and can cause a lot of issues, frustration and discontent. So let's talk about a couple of those features now. Now, the first one is something that now I think is going to be a very difficult conversation topic, because pricing markers and pricing indicators are a big thing within you as a consumer now. So when we talk about price indicators, obviously it's important for you to understand if you're buying a car, is it a correct, fair and right price? Well, that's a very varied topic of subject, because there's a lot of variables within what makes something good value or what makes something overpriced, fair priced, high price. Okay, so let's look now on the Autotrader system. So let me just share my screen with you all. So this is our Porsche Macan that is in stock. We can see it's 18,995, good price, £282 above the average retail valuation. Okay, so that's what Autotrader tells us. Let's go on to retail check now. So along here, it tells you the recommended retail valuation, and it gives you sort of a strength on the retail value. Performance rating, ignore. This is something that is a load of absolute tosh. So I can see here that although my car is supposedly overpriced, according to Autotrader, by £282, it's the 7th best value out of 16, right? And then if we go play either side, we are 25th out of 40. So we're in the middle, play either side, but exact matching, we are very attractively priced. Okay, so what then goes into this price indicator that gives us the indication anything up to 101, 102%, after that goes into fair, and you can see anything below, I think it's like 98% goes into great, and then below that's low price. But there's a lot of influential features that this impacts. So one thing that's key that influences this is spec, for definite. So to be fair to Autotrader, additional spec does make a difference, which is good, and that's quite a smart feature. So I will give them that. That's a good credit to them, okay? And they do that very, very well. And they are actually trying to implement spec preloaded based on information they can get off VINs from dealers. So that makes our lives really easy. And it also does make you as a consumer a lot easier, because then you know you're buying the right car, the right spec, although I have found spec to be incorrect sometimes. However, it's a really good feature, this one. What isn't a good feature is, apart from spec, the only thing that influences this, if I can type properly, is the price. So whatever I set the price to with the spec indicates a price point, okay? But within this, there's no consideration for prep. So this car hasn't, but if I went to something that I'd done a cam belt on, or I'd done a lot of mechanical serviceable work to make sure that car is prepped to the highest level standard. Also something that doesn't consider it is service history and owners. Now, if you had two of the same car, I'm just looking out the window, we've got an M2 in the showroom now. If you own two M2s that are exactly the same colour, exactly the same age, exactly the same mileage, same spec, right? You own the two of those cars, they're 4 years old. This one's got no cosmetic prep. It's straight on a forecourt. It's just been serviced with BMW. It has full BMW service history, including the all-important running-in service. This one here, you need to do tyres on it. It needs brakes. It's missing services. It hasn't had the running-in service. It's due a service. It needs an MOT, and it needs £700 worth of prep, cosmetically, right? You took both of those cars into any dealership or any other buying service such as Motorways, Car Gurus, Gumtree, eBay, or more importantly, We Buy Any Car. If you did that now on We Buy Any Car and you said, look, mine's got 5 owners with no service history, with damage, against one that's got 1 owner, 4 main dealer history, no damage, would you expect to get the same price when you sell the car? The answer is no, of course you wouldn't. So why then does Autotrader assume you would when you buy a car? That doesn't make any sense to me. So, and the problem with this is, and I know this is a problem because dealers now are being squeezed so much, it's very, very difficult now to really generate healthy profits within the industry, because within the motor trade, the operating costs have probably gone up 35, maybe even 40%, 30 to 40%, I would assume, for certain companies. So that's your operating costs have gone up within the business. But the actual profit margins you're due to be working off haven't changed. So in the last 5 to 7 years or so, since after COVID, the profit margins within cars have stayed the same. So what you buy and sell a car for, the margin in between has always stayed the same pretty much, or there or thereabouts. But the cost of you being able to do that process has gone up 30%, right? So dealers now are squeezed so much. So what becomes a problem then, and what I have seen, and what I know is a problem, why then do I get penalised for being a good dealer by spending the right money to get the right car in, prepping it to the best standard possible cosmetically and mechanically, and then saying, look, I want a premium for my car because it's got a premium warranty on, I prepped it properly, you're going to buy my car and it's going to be in the best mechanical and cosmetic condition possible, but I want £500 more than what it should be worth. But no, that puts me fair price. So you as a consumer just see my car as overpriced. If you went to view one that's £500 underpriced, but hasn't got a cam mount done, or needs tyres, needs brakes, needs a bit of cosmetic prep, on the face of it, it looks like you're getting a better deal. But then when you go to service that car next year, MOT it, you've got to put tyres on it, brakes on it. 6 months after that, you're worried about the cam belts you'd pay to get the cam belt done. You spend £1,200 getting that car back to the same standard mine was, yet you could have had all of that by just paying £500 to begin with, when you bought my car, not another car down the road. Which one's the best value for the consumer? It's not the cheaper one, although Autotrader are telling you as a consumer that's the best value for the car. There's so many variables in there. And what it means for dealers is, because they're being squeezed, we're getting penalised by doing the job the right way. It looks better for dealers to prep their cars less, sell them cheaper, because it looks like they're better value for the consumer. And I know that's gone on. The conversations do go on with dealers, because they're being forced to have to think in that way sometimes. So from a consumer point of view, take these price indicators with a big pinch of salt, because they don't always reflect what's the best value for you when buying a car. Now, this also is almost more of a problem with the new deal builder. So let's jump onto the deal builder system now, and I want to tell you exactly what is a massive problem and can be a big detriment to you personally when doing a deal builder. And if you're looking to take out finance, why I would be hesitated for you to not at least speak to the dealer first for this coming up reason, because it is mega. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to jump on to the deal builder, which is the new implemented feature. Now, this has been running for a little while with Autotrader. This isn't something new, but it is new in terms of it's mandatory. It's take it or leave it. You either adhere to having deal builder, or you can cancel your subscription and find some rights to sell your cars. So this has been in progress with Autotrader for a couple of years now. Now, in April, I think it was on May, they introduced it as a bit of a trial period, and it was optional. We rejected the deal builder straight away within a couple of weeks of it being live. Both me and Craig individually had conversations with dealers. With the account managers, and we said that we want to take it off, it doesn't work. And I know from conversations I've had with other dealers, friends in the motor trade, they all don't like this system. Now, why does this become important? So let's jump and have a quick look at this Audi here. So a big part of the deal builder is how Autotrader are trying to streamline and make the whole buying process as easy as possible. But this is going to have a big influence and detriment to you as a consumer for one big reason, and this is really, really important. So obviously this Audi that's with sale with Crew Audi, let's go build a deal. So let's go to build a deal now. I did a bit of playing around with this last night and I found this to be quite shocking. So ready to start, let's give it a click. Put my email address in. Sorry, I had to then get the number off. So fake lead, my fake number as well. So continue. So we're on the deal builder system now. And what I want to do, and this is the important thing, is get a valuation for part exchange. So the vehicle registration, and out of curiosity, I was just found a car on Car Gurus and I wanted to see how prices compared. So LO2 Thor, Lima Oscar 23, Kilo Uniform, done 8,241 miles. Let's see what Autotrader reckon the price of that car is. I don't owe any finance on the vehicle. So we get some different variables here. I was comparing, I can see damage all over and it's almost perfect. So within this, choose this option is vehicle to likely need lots of repair work and parts replacing inside and out. It's almost perfect. The vehicle has no visible signs of damage aside from perhaps minor paintwork repair. The inside is clean and well maintained. So these are the two best and worst valuation systems. So let's go, it's almost perfect. Yesterday it was 36,228. Let's see if it makes any difference to today. 36,512. It's gone up apparently, which is fun. So 36,512. Let's go back. And it was 8,241. And then let's go to I can see damage all over and see what the difference in price is on that one. 36,031. Right. That's a problem. So the best case scenario valuation for your car is £36,512. The worst case scenario for your car as a consumer is £36,031. So let's say, for argument's sake, there's £500 difference between those two valuations, right? How is that going to work? How, from a dealer's point of view, is the worst situation for your part exchange going to be £500 worth of work? £500 doesn't get you anywhere on a car nowadays, like paint, mechanical stuff. So your car is in severe damaged condition internally, externally, and needs mechanical work, and Autotrader suggests the difference between that car being immaculate to need a lot of prep is £500 worth of work. So from a consumer point of view, you're thinking, great, I've been offered a really healthy amount of money for my car. So you then go and build the deal. You then, maybe you had finance on the car, maybe you owed a certain settlement figure. So you work off the fact that Autotrader has promised you your car's worth £36,031. So the seller needs to confirm the car's condition, which is fine, but then the next step is finance. So you can skip that whole step and apply for finance, which a lot of people are going to do, right? So then you go and work your financials based on the fact that the worst case scenario, based on the worst possible condition for your car, is going to be £36,031, right? When you come to drop the car off to us as a dealer or another dealer, and the dealer's going to look at you and think, oh, that car needs £2,000 worth of work, I can't accept the deal. You're then wasted a credit application. So there's a marker on your credit profile and history. You're then going to have to go rummage around in your own pocket to find the difference in the deposit to cover the damage on the car. And then you're going to think, well, hold on, I was promised that was the best value for the car, but we didn't dictate the price. Autotrader dictated the price. You've done nothing wrong as a consumer because you've ticked the worst possible option within that. And there's no option for you to add service history or condition for the car. So you've done your job right. Now I want to share a bit of an example with this here as well. So CAP is another valuation system that's very, very big in the motor trade. CAP was the number one before Autotrader. CAP's still extremely, extremely relevant. Okay, so let's do the XC60 again, right? And it was 8241. So a lot of valuation systems. Oh, I've had an absolute melt there. LO23 KUU. So a lot of valuation systems such as We Buy Car, they work off CAP Clean. Okay. So as we can see here, I don't believe the valuations change. So CAP Clean today. So as of today, ignore that because this is today, is 36,900. CAP below is 34,200. That's a £2,700 difference between the best it could be and possibly the worst it could be, right? That gives people a margin of error. Autotrader don't. They force people in a corner to pay more money for a car than they will want to pay. And I tell you what, a dealer's not going to do it. A dealer's not going to pay over the odds for a car that needs damage. And this is something I want to talk about as well. So the best possible value for that part exchange run was 36,512. Now, if we go onto the Autotrader system, I can show you these cars for sale. So LO23 KUU 8241. So to be fair, they've offered you the exact trade price to your car. Not bad, okay? What an Autotrader, not bad. But let's have a look at what they're selling for. Let's go play either side. So this car that I was looking at is actually for sale in Reading for 39,649. And they've had it in stock for 46 days. But Autotrader reckon the cars were 41,340 out. So there's a big difference there. These two are very interesting to me because granted they've done more mileage, but you can buy that same car from Volvo, yes, done more mileage, for the same price as what Autotrader reckon you can get part exchange for it. Do you think if you called up Volvo, who would buy this car because it's a main dealer car, even if it was in the best possible condition, they would offer you £36,500 for your car when they've got two in stock in and around the £36,000 range? Yes, again, more mileage, but they can't sell. You've done 6,000 more miles. That's it. No. So it's completely ludicrous, to be honest. It is completely ludicrous. So from a consumer point of view, that is extremely damaging. It's very, very dangerous. It's not something that is to be taken lightly. The logic behind, or the data, I should say, behind what Autotrader believe, why they believe there to be less than £500 worth of work between the best possible condition and the worst, is mind-blowing. No one wins in that situation. And this sounds dramatic, but it happens all the time. It happens all the time with third-party finance companies. Now, why does that become a problem? So what Autotrader are trying to do now is structure a sales process in a way that it's streamlined and seamless for you as a consumer and has little involvement from the dealer, right? So by the time you've organized this, you've got no relationship with the dealer, you don't know who you're dealing with, you're not spoke to anyone, okay? That business model has proven not to work, right? The click and collect system hasn't worked, right? You know, Kazoo are pretty much the groundbreaking feature for that, right? We all saw what happened there. Click and collect doesn't work. People need to get to know the dealers, they need to see the car, need to feel the car, need to test drive the car, right? Now, this isn't always a click and collect feature. There is that option available, but the deposit is a commitment to purchase. It's the last thing within any process, right? And yes, effectively based on a deal builder, it is the last thing because you build the deal first, or you can just leave a deposit, right? But you need to understand everything else properly within the deal first. And this clearly doesn't. This clearly doesn't involve the dealer whatsoever, and it gives you the most unrealistic part exchange guide price, right? So it's a bad thing that you have no relationship with the dealer first and foremost, because why would you not want to form that relationship with the dealer, right? You're not gonna, if something goes wrong with the car, you're not gonna go back to Autotrader, are you? You're gonna come back to us, right? Because we've sold you the car. So you need to have that relationship with the dealer, and that gets lost throughout this process. And that's a really important key thing. So when Autotrader start doing this, it really doesn't benefit either in the process. So we've had it multiple times in the past where what happens is a third party finance company calls us and says, Mr. Cartwright, I've got Mr. Smith interested in your car. They've got a part exchange, blah, blah, blah. The car is described as this, right? We don't get to get hold of the consumer at that point. It's dealt with between the third party finance company. We're mediated between them and the consumer, right? I've had it multiple times before. Only of late, only within the last month, I had someone drive all the way from South Wales. Car was described as really clean, service history, no faults. It turned up, it needed £900 worth of paint repair, and it had both a yellow and a red engine management light on. I said, look, I don't even want the car. I said, I can't even buy your car off you. And we've had it before where the cosmetic damage has been so bad, the customer hasn't got the deposit to fit the difference. So we've then had to refund the deal. We've then had a car off sale for God knows how long, whilst the customer's trying to come down. They then have had a wasted credit search on their profile, and then on top of that, they've then got to drive all the way back 2.5 hours to South Wales. What a waste of a time for everyone involved. And the reason for that is because they've skipped the conversation between the customer and the industry expert. Autotrader aren't dealers. They're not industry experts. They don't understand how to run a dealership. So when you cut that out, both sides lose, right? The consumer loses, the dealership loses. It's a very dangerous slope that Autotrader are going down now, and it's becoming a big, big, big problem. And it does massively affect you as a consumer. And there's a bit of a war on Autotrader at the moment, and I think for good reason, because I just realised this car's 455 brake horsepower, or PS. That is wild. Cheap, but wild. Anyway, but sorry, that just caught my eye then. But yeah, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous slope for everyone involved, and I think Autotrader need to wake up a little bit, to be honest, because there's going to be, I wouldn't say they talk about a revolution, that Autotrader own the market, right? We couldn't run the business without Autotrader. We've got on with Autotrader for years now. We've had a very positive experience with them throughout, but they're just creating a situation and system that I think now both parties aren't going to flourish or benefit from. The only people that benefit in are Autotrader, and it feels very monopoly or dictatorship in terms of that side. And that's not really fair. They're not creating a fair playing ground for dealers or for consumers as well. So that's a bit of an update in terms of where we feel Autotrader, again, are falling very short on both expectations on dealers and also customers.